Just short of this. A lot of the top. Morikawa for birdie. Another one.
11 years old, a careless twist, innocent and unchecked. A crack rang out piercing and unforgiving, like glass shattering in a quiet dream. Only Collin Morikawa heard it. Only he felt the sharp blaze that followed, as if someone had severed the link between his hand and the one thing he loved most, his golf club. In that moment, it felt like the end of childhood. Over 10 years later, the same wrist now moves with force and grace, building a story of its own. 2 major championships under his belt, dozens of millions in tournament earnings, golf shots that hush crowds from Augusta National to Royal St. George's. Collin Morikawa, a name that commands respect from legends and admiration from moguls. Yet he remains quietly unreadable. Behind that easy smile and steady stare lies something no one can quite explain. How did a boy with an injured wrist, who once wept silently in fear that he'd lost the thing he loved, become one of the most commanding players in the game? What hidden fire turned his pain into power? That once fearful child into a man impossible to overlook today. We explore the story of a golfer with rare talent and a will that refuses to break. Collin Morikawa. Childhood, the wrist fracture that changed everything. Collin Morikawa was born on February 6, 1997 in La Cañada, Flintridge, a peaceful Los Angeles suburb where oak-lined roads feel as serene as a fairway at sunset. In the warm home of a disciplined, middle-class Asian family, his father Blaine, a 4th-generation Japanese-American, and his mother Debbie. Of Chinese heritage, Collin grew up loved and guided toward a lofty goal. They weren't wealthy, but determination brimmed in that household as they nurtured the one carrying a big dream. Blaine, a soft-spoken businessman, would never scold Collin for a bad swing. He watched quietly, teaching his son discipline and focus through his example. Debbie, a gentle presence, was the comforting breeze at home. She noticed, when he was only 5, the spark in Collin's eyes as he awkwardly held a plastic club, as though destiny had found him. Collin's boyhood wasn't marked by drama. Instead, it was a rhythm of steady routines: early hours at the range with his father, school afternoons at Chevy Chase Country Club, and evenings cleaning his clubs while envisioning perfect shots. In that home, golf transcended sport. It became training and willpower and excellence. At 9, Collin earned his first award in a local junior tournament. The boy nicknamed the kid who never misses stunned everyone. Coach Rick Sessinghouse, who guided Collin from those early days, once remarked, "He learned from mistakes faster than any child I've seen. We never had to discipline him. Collin knew how to recover on his own." Then at 11, an unexpected blow hit. A fractured wrist from an overly eager swing benched Collin from golf. Doctors demanded rest, forbidding him from gripping a club for months. For a child devoted to golf, the restriction felt like confinement, yet Collin refused defeat. During those confinement months at home, he watched Tiger Woods' videos, dissecting every swing, every course decision. He took detailed notes, visualized himself playing, and mentally rehearsed tournaments. That time taught him how to win even when he couldn't play. In high school at La Cañada High, Collin excelled both in class and on the course. He balanced academics and tournaments with remarkable calm, becoming a standout junior golfer. That blend of talents led him to the University of California, Berkeley, in 2015 with a full scholarship. Majoring in business administration, he honed his game within Cal's prestigious golf program. His collegiate career was stellar, winning the 2018 Pac-12 championship, earning All-American status, and claiming major collegiate titles. Even amid success, Collin stayed grounded, the same humble boy from La Cañada, aiming not for fame, but to become his very best. Career, from college student to top golfer. When Collin Morikawa arrived at the University of California, Berkeley, a prestigious U.S. institution, he was already a known figure in high school and collegiate golf circles, with nearly straight A grades and a tournament record that made rivals take notice. Morikawa swiftly became the golf team's indispensable captain. Beneath the surface of that elite athlete was a model international economics student punctual to every lecture, diligent in every assignment, and described by professors as embodying iron discipline and unwavering passion. Even amid lectures, it was obvious Collin didn't swing a club for fame. He played with surgical precision as if he were a finely tuned machine built to win. In 2019, mere weeks after graduation, Morikawa quietly qualified for the PGA Tour. No fanfare, no flashy announcements, just a serious young man fully aware of his purpose. At the RBC Canadian Open, he finished tied for 14th in his pro debut, an encouraging start. 6 weeks later, he won the Barracuda Championship, a result so swift that commentators scrambled for info on his background. Then, barely a year later, in a COVID-impacted 2020 season, Morikawa stunned the golf world by winning the PGA Championship on his first major appearance, a rare accomplishment. His classic eagle drive on the par 4 16th at TPC Harding Park didn't just win him the title, it signaled the rise of a new generation understated, unshowy, but incredibly precise, where many players celebrate emotionally. Morikawa opts for logic. When others rip off shirts in triumph, he calmly replaces his hat, records stats, and controls his reactions as if finishing a final exam. He lets his results do the talking, the WGC Workday Championship, 2021 Open Championship, and notably becoming the first American to claim the race to Dubai, usually dominated by Europeans. Rather than show off, he held a top 10 world ranking for 5 consecutive years, a rare feat even among modern legends. Then came a drought. From late 2021 until October 2023, Morikawa didn't add a title to his name. Events that looked like wins, like the 2023 Century Tournament of Champions, slipped away on the last day. Still, he never pointed fingers, no excuses, no drama. Instead of complaining, he swabbed with putters. Instead of blaming luck, he rewrote his practice routine. Then he waited. That opportunity came in October 2023 at the Zozo Championship in Japan, his ancestral homeland. With thousands of Asian supporters cheering, Collin Morikawa claimed the victory but remained composed, simply nodding in quiet respect. Like a machine recalibrated to perfection, cool, precise, and flawless. By May 2025, Morikawa stood firmly among the world's top 4 golfers. He recently secured a top 10 finish at the Players' Championship and stayed close to the leaders at the Truist Championship. In an age where applause often seems more prized than accuracy, Morikawa swims against the current. He isn't competing for popularity. He earns admiration through steady performance, cold calculation, and unerring precision. Collin Morikawa never declares himself superior to others. Yet each swing, every shot from that tee box, every ball that lands dead center, it proclaims that reality for him. Assets, the high-class life beyond the glare. Las Vegas isn't known as a place for those who prefer privacy, but that's never bothered Collin Morikawa. In a city that thrives on spectacle, where the lights never sleep and the show never stops, Morikawa has carved out a lifestyle that whispers luxury rather than screams for it. Rather than embrace the glitter and chaos, he's chosen a quiet, classic elegance that draws attention precisely because it doesn't try to. Tucked within a gated enclave on the serene south side of Las Vegas, Morikawa's Mediterranean-inspired villa embodies the idea of quiet strength, bathed in sunlight from 3 directions, with sandstone gates and a subdued iron fence. It seems designed to keep the outside world at arm's length, though the exact price tag remains private. The home's refined touches soaring ceilings with Italian crystal, granite surfaces, and manicured turf suggest a value of $5 million or more. It's not the kind of property built to impress the neighbors. It's one built to reflect intentional living. Much like the way he approaches the game, nowhere is this philosophy more evident than in the sleek black Cadillac Escalade he often drives around the city. He could have chosen something flashier, a sports car, a foreign luxury vehicle, but this American SUV speaks volumes about his grounded taste. The Escalade, part of his ambassador deal with Cadillac, perfectly complements his persona: classic, composed, and quietly confident. As one Cadillac executive put it, He doesn't need the car to stand out, he gives the car its presence. On his wrist, rarely seen by fans, rests an Omega Seamaster Aquaterra, an emblem of subtlety and Swiss precision. It reflects the same meticulous timing that defines his swing sharp, unembellished and never rushed. His partnership with Omega puts him alongside legends like Clooney and Craig Icons, who let elegance do the talking. As of early Morikawa's estimated net worth hovers near $6 million, but that figure barely scratches the surface, with over $37 million in the tournament winnings and lucrative partnerships across industries. His financial foundation is solid and growing. Big names like Adidas, TaylorMade, Zurich, US Bank, and Cadillac have all placed long-term bets on him, and they didn't choose him by chance. Because today's top brands don't just want famous faces, they want consistency, class, and character, and Morikawa delivers all three. While other athletes court attention through vlogs or high-profile campaigns, Morikawa has taken a far more private route. His wife, Catherine Zhu, a multilingual former collegiate golfer herself, has embraced that same low-profile grace. They don't flood Instagram with vacation reels or designer posts from exotic destinations. Instead, they appear in rare glimpses, cooking together at home and after a round, living a life that feels both sincere and rare in their profession. People have wondered why he hasn't followed the common path of launching a brand or jumping into the TV spotlight. Why not a fashion label or his own media company? Like so many of his peers have done, the answer may lie in how he carries himself, whether lining up a soft fade or choosing not to overshare online. Morikawa isn't chasing clicks, he's building a narrative. Quiet and deliberate, one chapter at a time. He's not interested in a flash-in-the-pan headline, he's after something that endures. So while others perform for attention, Morikawa plays a deeper role behind the scenes. He isn't here to entertain, he's here to author his story. One careful sentence at a time. Marriage. Love after the swings. No one can pinpoint the exact moment Collin Morikawa fell in love. There was no televised gesture, no sweeping floral display in front of the cheering crowd. Love found its way to him quietly, much like the way he studies a shot under pressure, selects his club, or chooses calm in a city that never sleeps. Catherine, born in Vancouver and of Chinese descent, once shown as a college golfer at Pepperdine, more than capable of going pro had she wished. Yet instead of chasing her own spotlight, she opted to walk beside a man not a celebrity then, but a devoted athlete with dawn practices and silent grit. Theirs isn't a headline-grabbing love filled with twists and theatrics. It's a shared ascent from collegiate fairways to podiums at golf's most hallowed grounds. She once chauffeured him when his car wouldn't start, handed him energy bars across continents, not for cute photo ops, but to care for him when no one else was watching. When Morikawa first hoisted the PGA trophy, he didn't run to interviews or a media scrum. He found her, the woman who simply lifted her hand. No cheers, no fuss, as if they'd played out this moment in their dreams 100 times. Their engagement came in November 2021 on a sun-drenched slope at Torrey Pines, with the Pacific glowing in the background and golden rays draping the grass like silk. 1 year later, in November 2022, they wed in an intimate ceremony in California. No photographers, no influencers, not even a wedding picture shared online, just loved ones. And a heartfelt vow: I'll never walk onto a course without remembering you stood beside me from the very beginning. Catherine stays off the talk show circuit. She doesn't host a podcast, doesn't cash in on her image, doesn't launch fashion lines despite her charm and Ivy League pedigree. In a time when relationships are often performed for clicks, when athletes are defined by who they're seen with, she chooses the quiet lane, more foundation than feature. Maybe because she knows love isn't about exposure, it's about someone who understands the tempo of your heart. People often ask how Collin Morikawa remains so centered in a chaotic, fame-driven world. Why does he keep steady during rough stretches, steer clear of tabloid drama in this hyper-connected age? Perhaps it's because every time he glances toward the gallery, there's always one familiar pair of eyes, no signs, no screaming, just a subtle nod. And for Morikawa, that's all he needs to trust he's still on course. Scandal. Suspected for being too perfect. You won't often find Collin Morikawa splashed across gossip columns. He doesn't throw tantrums on the green, isn't seen stumbling out of nightclubs, and never lashes out at rivals. There's no wild past, no controversial sound bites, and certainly no outbursts. In today's sports landscape, where drama often drives headlines, his precision makes him a mystery, even a target. Back in 2022, when several elite golfers abandoned the PGA Tour to join the Live Golf, a breakaway league funded by Saudi interests, rumors swirled that Morikawa was next. Whispers emerged suggesting he was eyeing a 9-figure contract. Twitter ignited. A prominent golf site even accused him of betraying the game's legacy. Then, just hours later, he broke his silence with a tweet. "Heard I'm ditching the PGA Tour this week. Good news, I'm teeing it up at the Travelers. Relax. No defensiveness, no accusations, just a cool-headed quip that shut the door on the frenzy and reminded everyone his loyalty wasn't for sale." Still, his calmness didn't shield him from judgment. Between 2021 and 2023, during a title drought, whispers turned to questions. Some American outlets wondered aloud, is Morikawa too emotionally detached to lead? Is there a soul under that surgical swing? After the shocking collapse at the 2023 Century TOC, where he lost a 6-shot lead on the final day, some fans labeled him a choker. He offered no rebuttal. Instead, he fine-tuned his gear, buried himself in practice, and returned with a statement win at the Zozo Championship. No dramatic proclamations, no theatrics, just a slight nod. Then on to the next challenge. Even when representing Team USA at the Ryder Cup or addressing crowds at majors, Morikawa exudes quiet precision, but not the usual fiery leadership. He won't rally the locker room with speeches, but he'll deliver the shot that seals the win, then fade into the background. One golf writer once joked, "The biggest scandal tied to Morikawa is that he doesn't have one." In an era where stars often gain sympathy through flaws, his restraint, discipline, and silence invite speculation about whether he's too polished to be real. Yet that very mystique, that choice not to explain himself, not to court attention, has kept him among the elite for nearly 10 years. Not because he's flawless, but because he's never given the world a chance to watch him crumble. Achievements, fame without the noise. In an era when most professional golfers spend decades chasing a spot in the world's top 10, Collin Morikawa managed it in just 6 weeks. When he clinched the 2019 Barracuda Championship, his first win on tour, he didn't leap for joy like someone whose life had just changed overnight. Instead, he calmly shook his caddy's hand and tucked away his club as though it were all part of the script. 12 months later, he took home the 220 PGA Championship in his first ever major start. At the 16th hole, his 290-yard drive that landed softly on the green was later called the most ice-cold shot of the century. No roars, no triumphant fist pumps, just a subtle glance at the club, as if to say, "Nice work." And Juan Morikawa's rise continued as he claimed the Open Championship again. And on his very first try, with that win, he became the only golfer in history to secure 2 different majors in his debut appearance at each. He didn't stop there. He won the Race to Dubai title, becoming the first American to top the European Tour leaderboard, an unexpected honor for a 24-year-old Asian American far from home. But Morikawa's brilliance goes beyond what glitters in the trophy case. It's rooted in his relentless consistency. He made the cut in his first 22 consecutive PGA Tour events, just shy of the record set by Tiger Woods. From 2020 through 2020, he has remained firmly among the top 10 players globally, even as Scheffler, Rahm, and McIlroy traded reins at the summit. Few athletes maintain that level of form and manage to stay so quiet while doing it. By mid-2000, Morikawa's resume includes 6 PGA Tour victories, 2 major championships, and almost $40 million in career earnings, plus major partnerships with Adidas, Omega, TaylorMade, Zurich, and US Bank. He stands as a symbol of the modern athlete, understated, yet leaving a lasting impression with every step he takes. Asked about what moment he treasures most, Morikawa doesn't bring up his jaw-dropping eagle or that historic win across the Atlantic. Instead, he gives a modest answer: "I'm most proud that I never stopped learning. Every round is me, just a little bit better." That, in the end, may be the most meaningful triumph, not just beating others, but steadily evolving. One day, one swing at a time. Future, the journey of the one, still holding an ace. Collin Morikawa doesn't speak publicly about chasing the Grand Slam. He doesn't broadcast goals or declare, "I will be world number one." No dramatic highlight reels after losses, no loud displays of personal ambition. Yet when you look at his 2025 calendar, from the PGA Championship and US Open to the Open at Royal Troon, you'll find an intentional path each tournament, each shot, designed with a higher summit in mind. With 2 major titles already in his bag, Morikawa stands just 2 wins away from joining golf's rarest club alongside Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and Ben Hogan, those who've completed the fabled career Grand Slam. Unlike rising stars who burn out from rushing ahead, he opts for recalibration, testing new putters, adjusting his team, reimagining his path even while holding steady inside the world's elite rankings. Beyond the ropes, his influence grows in measured ways, rather than chasing viral trends or TV appearances. He's partnering with USMS Bank on educational finance efforts, quietly developing a book on high-performance mindset, and making thoughtful visits to Asia, where he's emerging as the first truly global Asian-American figure in golf. His agent hints he's still holding back. His wife says, "Collin hasn't shown his finest golf yet." Even fellow pros admit the quieter he gets, the more dangerous he becomes. In today's game, where players are often defined by drama, flair, or social media reach, Morikawa remains the outlier. He doesn't clamor for the spotlight, but when trophies are handed out, he's often standing near the podium. He's not the rebel, not the emotional outpour, not the fading star explaining losses. He keeps progressing, precise, composed as if guided by a chart only he can read. And if Morikawa truly has yet to reveal the full extent of his arsenal, then perhaps everything we've witnessed so far has merely been his opening act. Collin Morikawa has never tried to be a savior. He doesn't seek redemption, nor does he need a dramatic turnaround to leave an impression. From day one, he's remained the golfer who approaches each round with steady eyes, skill to hands, and a strategy he keeps to himself. He doesn't label himself as unique, yet the silence he keeps in victory, and the deeper silence in defeat, makes everyone stop and ask, is Morikawa truly as composed as he seems? Or is there a precision engine quietly reshaping the definition of greatness? Because in an age full of noise, the one who says the least might just be the one who rewrites the rules. Viewer discretion is advised. Think for yourself, verify details, and enjoy responsibly. Like this story, click like, comment, share, and subscribe.